Breaking news, Dan Mueller just forced me to rewrite my remarks today with some good news, so we'll get to that in just a second. To some, albeit not many in this room, philanthropy is just about the numbers. The number of donors, the number of new, the number of those returning, the average size of gifts, the number of years gifts have been given, and I will admit, probably more than once, being one of those boastful, competitive, nonprofit CEOs who likes to compare numbers. How much our organization raised in the last fiscal year with others. And I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours sort of way. And with this year's Scott M. Cutlip Award winner at the helm for the last 14 years, I've had a lot to be boastful of. After all, the total number is in excess of $30 million. But we know what's most important in philanthropy is what lies beyond the numbers. It's the transformation that comes from the generosity. And Dan, as this year's award winner in the fight against AIDS, tells that tale so very well. When he started at ARCW more than 14 years ago, death rates were higher, new HIV infections were greater, and the unmet needs of our patients and clients were significant. Through steady leadership, innovation, a bit of fun, including a ship's bell that rings with every gift that is given, and coloring his hair bright blue, he's never ever missed a chance of developing a relationship or making an ask. His just plain old-fashioned hard work has helped achieve great transformation. Transformation that has overcome stigma and other barriers to mental health so that our patients may live well. Transformation to help implement the newest and most effective HIV prevention strategies that have reduced new HIV infections by 20%. And here's the breaking news. As ARCW embarks on our national strategy, Dan just took this moment to share with me a lead gift that will allow us to open up a food pantry for people living with HIV in Denver, Colorado later this year. Congratulations on that, Dan. But the transformation here in Wisconsin has led our state to have the lowest HIV mortality rate anywhere in America. Yes, indeed, people with HIV live longer here than anywhere else in the country. That is the definition of transformation through leadership and philanthropy. You know, sadly, much lies ahead in the fight against AIDS. A record number of people are in need of care. There are significant challenges to accessing and affording health care. We have a stubbornly high rate of new HIV infections, and discrimination is far too persistent. But with Dan leading our philanthropic efforts, we can all rest assured that Wisconsin will remain at the pinnacle of the fight against AIDS. Please join me in a thunderous round of applause for this year's Cutlip Award winner, Dan Mueller.
Well, thank you, Mike. I would have been here today with my 90-year-old mother, but she is recuperating from some serious surgery and was unable to make the trip down from St. Paul. I want to send my love and my support to her as she recuperates. We hope she's a good patient and is on the mend soon. She's stubborn and she's a fighter, so she'll get there. First of all, I want to thank my beautiful family, my wife Pam, my daughters Elizabeth and Sophie. Thank you for your love, your support, and your understanding of my long hours. I really appreciate it. I want to thank the people who nominated me. These are all folks I've known and admired a long time, including Mike Gifford, my president and CEO, Jerry Janis, the chair of our board of directors, Will Radler, Joe Pabst, Mike Brophy from Aurora Healthcare. And I understand that all of these nominations were marshaled by Brett Blumey from the Cream City Foundation. I appreciate it very much. I grew up in a house that was host to a wide variety of people, it seemed, all the time. People coming and going, family of 9, people coming and going all hours of the day and night. Many of them we didn't even know. I remember one occasion a man crashed his motorcycle on the street at the foot of our driveway. Thank God we were home because we were able to get him out of the street and call for an ambulance. On a completely different occasion, I remember coming up from the dock one summer day, dripping wet in my bathing suit, only to bump into this distinguished-looking couple standing in our living room. They were dressed in tweed in the dead of summer, and they looked perfectly comfortable, so I thought for sure they were European. It turns out they were. Not only were they European, but they were Polish aristocrats who happened to be friends of our very well-connected neighbors across the street. Our neighbors had called the house and said, our dear friends are passing through. Before they leave town, we'd like to show them what a Minnesota lake looks like. Can we bring them by? That was life at the Mueller household. And I look back on those occasions now with a heightened sense of appreciation because it was good training ground for life in fundraising. Right? It's what we do. We do something as dramatic as facilitate the healing of the wounded, or something not quite as dramatic, but certainly important, and that is giving someone the courtesy of a better view of things. What I mean to say is I think that all of our nonprofit organizations are the places that Americans turn to when they truly desire to connect with and advance the communities in which they live. And it's our role as fundraisers to help facilitate getting them the view and exploring with them if they want to invest to preserve the view, invest to change the view, or gather information about our various missions so they can form an opinion about it for that time when they do want to make a gift. When I'm on the clock at ARCW, my attention is always on the donor, so I think there'd be a lot of ARCW donors out there that'd be surprised to know that I actually have a connection to the fight against AIDS. I lost my brother Mark to AIDS. In fact, I was alone with him in his hospice room when he slipped away from me and into a coma. And I was with him and members of my family 4 days later when he died. Folks, I am here to tell you that you witness an experience like this once and you think, no more, no one else. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on politically. It doesn't matter what organized religion may try and teach us about the LGBT community. You survive a loss like this, or worse yet, you see your parents having to survive a loss like this. And it makes you want to take that judgment, that noise, and push it off to the side. And there, in the solitude of your own grief, you're left with one central question. What can I do to help? I share this story with you today because I think now you can understand my gratitude that Doug Nelson and ARCW found me and I found them. Every day for 14 years, I've been able to come to the office and show ARCW donors and prospective donors an accurate view of what life in America is like today with AIDS. And the view from Wisconsin is a lot more promising from it is from any other state in the country because, as you just heard, people with HIV live longer here than they do anywhere else. So on this day, when you honor me, I have to take a moment and honor all of our partners in philanthropy, the thousands and thousands of donors and community collaborators and partners who have seen the view and have decided to invest in longer, healthier lives with HIV. To my staff, past and present, many of whom are in this room, thank you for your service to me. As proud as I am of all you continue to do in philanthropy, I hope that you take a little pride and satisfaction in seeing my recognition here today because you deserve to. To the Business Journal, I want to say thank you for understanding that philanthropy is an economic driver in this community that deserves attention. And to the Association of Fundraising Professionals, I want you to know that you have given me a day I will not forget. I'm proud to be your fundraiser, and I wish all of our causes, our nonprofits, tremendous success in the year ahead. Thank you.